Ladies and gentlemen, I'm recording in a bathroom. Why? I don't know. But I wanted to talk to you guys about Pluribus episode 6, because this was actually my favorite episode so far of the show. I thought it was actually a genuinely fantastic episode of Pluribus, and where better to talk about than a bathroom. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just felt like being different today, okay? That's why I'm in a bathroom. But this episode was the immediate aftermath of the events of episode 5, the episode that got my worst ever rating or dislike ratio on a video ever because I said I didn't like it that much. Guess what? I loved this episode. And I loved it because it picked up, it actually developed the story a little bit and gave us more plot development, which I really liked. I thought it was fantastic to see Carol's immediate revelation to them eating bodies and storing them in a Dexter-like almost way, organized by body part and all of that, and she's terrified by that, obviously. But then when she goes to Vegas, and then she discovers everything that's going on, and the reality of the entire situation, it unraveled in such a fantastic way, and it was great to see that they're still giving her space by the way everything is being done. It was also interesting to see the way that I think it's Mr. Diabaté, I think. I don't know how you say his name, but it was interesting for me to see the way that he's living and he's making them all act like they're normal people. That was a fantastic revelation to see, and it was just great to see them interact. And this whole episode, what I liked about it so much is it truly felt like they were actually survivors within an apocalypse, because we got to see Mr. Diabaté's side of things where he is not fond of the way they're eating people either, and we get to understand how he's living, how he's adapting to it more, which I know we already knew, but just to see it go further and him expand that and all of that stuff was really great, and to see Carol learn more about it on the spot through a video that was made by John Cena was absolutely hilarious and a really incredible way to tell that story. I thoroughly enjoyed the way that was done. It was creative, it was fun, and it's exactly what I would expect from a Vince Gilligan show. I just loved everything about it. The scenery, them being in Vegas, and them going to, like, Carol driving through the Vegas Strip, and it was completely empty with the signs that say, like, welcome Carol, and then they bring her to the casino, and then she's on the casino floor. I just thought it was all done excellently. It was so much fun to watch. In that regard, it was shot really well and all of that stuff. And again, I feel like when it comes to Carol having these conversations with people like Mr. Diabaté, I think that's how you say his name. I honestly don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But I feel like they're just scratching the surface. Like, they all don't really agree with Carol, even though they are concerned for the welfare of everyone and how they're all going to starve to death within 10 years, basically. But it's really interesting that Carol's not being like, you guys aren't seeing this from my perspective. I watched my wife die in front of me, and like, that's why I'm the way I am, and also I'm a writer. Like, there's so much that she can say to try to sway these people that she isn't. But I'm also glad that we got to see at the end of it that it's not just Carol in this situation. Manousos is clearly on a mission to either find Carol or make things right. It seems like he's on a mission to find Carol. And that's very exciting to me, because finally we have someone who's on the right side of this, who is going to actually potentially join Carol and at least meet with her and understand more about this. It's great to see. And it's really interesting, the whole time I was watching them play poker, I was like, how is the hive mind playing poker? Because they could all technically see each other's cards. But then it was great. It was a great little reveal at the end that they were all acting and they had to act because that's what he was instructing them to do. I thought that was all great. It was really funny. I'm interested to see how it goes and when, if ever, they're going to turn a leaf with Carol and start, bringing her back into the picture and all of that stuff. I know that he was saying that she needs to, they need to see that she actually is sorry and like wants to change and all of that stuff. But I'm interested if we're going to get more of that this season with her interactions with the hive mind and Zosha. I'm sure we are. I'm sure we didn't see the last of it, but it was genuinely it was a really cool revelation the way it was all done and the way it was explained why they're eating humans. And I figured that. I thought that made a lot of sense. Like, if they're not going to kill, they have to eat somehow. And it's really interesting to see that this is how it goes, because this reminds me a lot of, and I saw a really interesting video on this. If I find it, I will link it. but it was basically how this Carol Sturka is a descendant of a Sturka from an episode of The Twilight Zone where this hive mind thing took over that planet from an episode of The Twilight Zone, and she could be a long-lost descendant of the Sturka who left and went to Earth to go away, and now the cosmic glue caught up to Earth, and now it's Sturka's turn, and you know what I don't know all this stuff. If I find the video, I'm going to link it. It's a really interesting exploration, but one of the theories was essentially that because they can't eat or anything, they can't kill, they're eventually going to starve. It was a theory in the video, now it's coming true, and now I'm wondering if this is like literally a continuation of the Twilight Zone story. I don't know. Going off on a tangent. Really interesting video, really interesting episode. Sorry, I just had to get that off my chest because this is a very exciting premise and one that I'm excited to see where it goes, especially from here. It's been so long that I can't tell you the last time that there's been a show where every episode I have no fucking clue what's going to come next, and that's exciting to me because this was just excellent for me not having any idea what's going to come of it. I can't wait to see where it goes. I'm loving every minute of it, despite, I think, everyone hating on my opinion of the last one where I said I didn't love that episode. Still gave it like a 7.5 out of 10. The point I'm trying to make is, this was fantastic, I'm really enjoying this, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here. Let me know your thoughts on this episode down in the comments below, and with all that out of the way, thank you again so much for watching this video, and until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Peace out.